Hey guys, welcome back to Rae's Create Cards. I hope everyone had a happy new year, and I hope your new year is starting off very well. In last week's video, I had said that I was going to show you possibly a card that I was working on that also used the Around the Bend stamp set and dies. And so I failed to show it to you, and I don't have everything glued down. I'm still playing with the ultimate design of this card. I do have just across the top here a little bit of glue holding this one piece, but all the rest of it is still really loose. And so these are the Around the Bend dies, and again, I went back to that double oval punch, and there is a leaf die, well, let me just show it to you. Oh my goodness. Here we go. So here's the Around the Bend stamp set. And then here is the die for that. And so I die cut those leaves out of this. And then I took my snips and I detached them from the curved edge. And so I've just got it kind of laying here together. Now the paper that I use is in the annual catalog, and it is the 2022 to 2024 in color glimmer paper, 6x6, 48 sheets, and of course all the new in colors that just launched this past year. And so for the card base, I have the Orchid Oasis, and I have the Orchid Oasis glimmer paper. And I started out cutting my pieces from the darkest to the lightest because it is kind of an ombre effect. However, in playing with this, I'm seriously thinking of redoing these leaves and doing them out of the Orchid Oasis cardstock. And the other thing I was thinking of doing was just taking out that bottom piece entirely and not even having that in there. So, not sure. Don't know if you guys have a preference, if you think it might be a good idea to recut these leaves, omit that last piece of glimmer paper. Let me know down in the comments below. I would be interested in your feedback. Okay, so this is the card that we are going to do today, and by the way, this is take 2 video. I had a little bit of a technical snafu when I originally started this video, and so I already have my DSP attached to my basic white card base, 8.5 by 4, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, okay? And these pieces here, the DSP, and I felt like you do maybe want to use 2 different patterns. I mean, you don't have to, but that's how I designed it. And they are cut at 2 1/4 by 5.5. Once you glue them on, you are going to have a little bit of an overlap, but that gives you plenty of wiggle room. And I felt like the design was very pleasing in the top and the bottom, and how much DSP was showing in each area. So I've already got that part glued on there. But this was the card that I designed, and I am using a new sentiment set that is called Sending Support. And this was my first time to actually get this out and use it. And so this is a sentiment. There are so many ways you might feel right now. Alone shouldn't be one of them, okay? And I did use the scalloped oval from that double oval punch to stamp that on. The 2 main colors other than white are your Calypso Coral, your Old Olive, and you do have a hint of Balmy Blue in there. For this one, and this is not ribbon that you can buy in the catalog, but I thought maybe just a white ribbon would go really well with this. We're going to recreate this card. However, I'm going to change a couple of things. I'm going to change the color of the ribbon, and I'm going to change what flower and leaves I use. Now, the leaves and the flowers come from our current set in the annual catalog called True Beauty. Guys, use any floral stamp set or any kind of stamp set that you may have, any kind of DSP that you may have to recreate this card. If you do want that little bit of a scallop border, if you have the basic border dies, you could absolutely do that and, you know, just omit this stamp. But this was all coordinating in that around the bend where you have the stamp and then you have the die cut that does the little scallop on the bottom. So I'm still playing with the around the bend. I just brought in and used what I had, okay? This DSP is called a Wash and Beauty, and it was actually made to coordinate with the True Beauty stamps and the Organic Beauty dies that go with the True Beauty stamps. All right, let's get ready to finish putting this together. You missed this part. Anyway, let's go ahead and do the inside of the card. And so on the inside, I have cut a piece of that really pretty DSP from a Wash and Beauty. And I have cut it 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And we're just going to get that put down on there. And as you can tell, when I flip this over, it's the same piece of DSP. I'm just using both sides. So let's go ahead and put this in on the inside and get that glued in. And then we will get our white layer of basic white. And I have cut that at 4 by 5 1/4. And the traditional, before we glue that in, let me first of all get my glue secured. And then I need to stamp on the inside what I want to stamp, and I don't think I got that out of my sentiment set. I didn't, so let's get that out. That it's okay, alone shouldn't be one of them, and here it is. And I need a little scrap of basic white. And I had a scrap left. Yep, here's my scrap. So we're going to take my little scrap. Let me get a block to put my sentiment on. And, alright, got that on there. And I am going to use the Calypso Coral, which is one of the colors in the DSP. And I did have to re-ink my ink pad earlier. I was good around the edges, not so much in the middle. And so I did a test stamp earlier, and it should be good now. Let's see how straight I can stamp this, standing back from them. Okay, good. It was stamping so pale on some of the letters, and it was like, yeah, we seriously need to take care of that. So I've got my stamping scrub here. I'm just cleaning up my stamp. I've been playing a little bit already in here today, and so I already had stamping mist on my stamping scrub. And then I've got my double oval punch, and we're just going to open it up, put this in here, and cut this out, and try to get it straight. We hope. I don't want it to be crooked. There we go. All right, and I've still got more of that scrap I can still use on. I'm going to close up my punch and put it to the side. And I don't know how many of you noticed, I don't always do this. I don't always take time. But just out of basic gray cardstock, I die cut these shapes and glued them on top. And I did that to try to prevent glare because it's so hard to not have glare from the lights that we need. Okay. So here we've got this, and then on here, what I want to do is get out the True Beauty flower that I used on the outside. And let's see, what size block do I need? I think I need a D block. Is this a D block? A little dirty D block, but it's a D block. All right, and I do need some scratch paper under here. And I don't always get out my grid paper for scratch paper. So here was just something I was working on. And I thought, you know, I can use the other side for scratch paper. And so that's what I'm going to use. Now I took the Calypso Coral and I stamped it. No, you know what? I did the Balmy Blue, didn't I? Let me get my Balmy Blue ink. Totally forgot I used that. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, got the Balmy Blue. And just stuck my finger right in it. Oh, isn't that what jeans are good for? All right. So we've got this, and I want to stamp it off twice. I actually did 3rd generation stamping for the inside of the cards. So I just wanted a hint of that to come through. Okay, so I've got that on there. I didn't want it to be overpowering. I wanted the sentiment to have the main focus. And then now I need to get my leaves out. So here are my leaves. And if y'all never got this stamp set, oh, I hope you do get it. And I'll tell you something else. I am really hoping that Stampin' Up! Will carry it over another year. I don't know whether they will or not, but I'm hoping that they do. I really do. And so here I've got my old olive, and I need to take a peek again to kind of refresh my memory how I did that. Okay, there we go. And even though these are not photopolymer, I honestly did not have an issue with getting them to stamp really well for me. So I'm just going to kind of snug it up and stamp. There we go. Not bad, okay? It's not hard even with the clean stamps to kind of get that to come together for you. And I will tell you, if you look at the outline of your flower, and I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention, but if you'll stamp it to where you have one of these little curves, it's a lot easier to kind of nudge your leaves in there so it doesn't look funny. So I got away with it this time, but I was mindful of that when I did that first card. All right, let's clean these off real quick. You've already seen how easily I can get into the ink. Oh, heavens. I don't know. When I very, very first started out as a card maker, I remember being so careful not to get ink. And it didn't matter how hard I tried. It seemed like I was always getting ink on my hands. So, eventually I embraced it. You know, don't we all have to do that? You just have to embrace it or forever be frustrated and upset. And, you know, we just don't want to go there, do we? All right, let me get this in the middle here. Straight, maybe. Maybe. Okay. Some kind of fuzz on my finger. All right, we've got that down. And let's just go ahead and glue this to the inside of the card. And we'll have that part done, and then we can get on with finishing off the front of the card. I haven't die cut everything, and I haven't pre-stamped everything. So there we go. Got that in there. Now just for the minute, because this dries so quick. All right. Now, at this point, I'm going to bring in the Big Boss, the regular full-size machine. I know it's awfully close to the camera, guys. I'm so sorry. If I try to change my camera, there's going to be so much camera shake. However, I am going to scoot this up a little bit further so that you can see a little bit better what I'm doing right here. I don't think I was real good on that in the last video. Okay, this is going to be the white piece for the front of the card. And I'm using that scallop die from Around the Bend. And then, once that's die cut, we can go ahead and do that curved stamp the dotted stamp, however you want to refer to it. Okay, so we've got that one. I'm just going to take this off and lay it to the side for a second. Now, in that True Beauty set, I'm using a different flower. Well, the flower that I just put on the inside, on my original card, I used that one. And I thought it would be fun to maybe change it up. And I stamped, and we're going to die cut the long stem with the 2 leaves. I haven't done a card doing it that way yet, but I thought, you know, it'd be kind of nice to see how it may change the looks of it. So, why not, right? We can do this and still have a real pretty card, even though they're going to be a little bit different looking. Okay, I've got that. Let's slide this off. All right. At this point, I think I'm done with the die cutting. I think so. So let's just go ahead and put him over to the side. Guys, I have still got, oh my goodness, it's going on 5 o'clock. And I need to get busy and get some homemade beef vegetable soup made for us. I think we're about hammed out. We've had all the leftovers we can stand. And it's time to, in fact, a lot of the ham ended up sectioned into meals and put in the freezer. Sorry about that. Got a tickle in my throat. And, of course, I didn't bring any water or any tea in here with me. I saved my coffee drinking for just in the morning. All right, I want to take this and get this put right back in here. There we go. Flip it over. Flip it over. Now we're good. Okay, I don't think I'll need that anymore. And I'm going to take my snips. I don't know if it moved on me a little bit. I'm going to take my snips and just curve that off of there. I can see what I'm doing. There we go. That finished that. And let's get ready to stamp this. Now, when I was playing with this the very first time, I played with stamping it this way, which if you're going to die cut, you do want the dots on the bottom. Let me get up here where you can see. If you're not going to die cut, this is really cute to do, and I'll tell you why. See these little tiny flowers and leaves? They stamp perfectly coming up out of each of the little dots. I mean, not that you're going to put that many in there, but you can actually do it that way, or you can pretend this is a hill that they're coming out of. So either way you would want to stamp it is good. Okay. Get my Calypso Coral. Oh yes, and there was a wonderful, wonderful ham bone in that ham. It was awesome. He is in the freezer as well. I will make ham bone and beans at some point during this winter. But for right now, I'm just really in the mood to do that, soup. We haven't had homemade soup in a while, and I am looking forward to that. Okay. Now, I'm going to come up from where we die cut, and I know you can't really see the distance. It is about 1/2 inch. Just about. And so I'm just going to go ahead and press gently. Make sure I'm getting good adhesion all the way across with the ink to the cardstock. Okay. There we go. Very good. A little bit light right there in that area, but not enough to mar the card. I probably should have gotten my Stamparatus back out. At this point, I'm going to have to put a little bit more stamping mist in my stamping scrub because this is such a long stamp. I want to make sure I get it all good and clean. Okay, am I clean? Nope, I still see a little bit right there. Let's get that off. All right, I think I'm good. I'm looking around all my little dots and okay, good. We're good. Now, I'm just going to leave it on the block and put it to the side, but at least I know I can't get my ink into it, right? Okay, so I'm just kind of going by eye, and maybe I should have gotten a piece of grid paper out. Try to make sure that's straight. And so here is my sentiment. There are so many ways you might feel right now. And we're going to get ready and also stamp that in the Calypso Coral. And, you know, you could change it up and you could do it in the Old Olive if you wanted to. You could. Now, I'm bringing this a little bit toward me. But hopefully, yeah, I think we're still in camera. And oh my heavens, I do hope that I stamp this straight. There we go. Hopefully, maybe. There we go. Oh, and it actually came out straight. I'm amazed. God is good all the time. All right. And it does help, I think, to say a little prayer before doing a video or even before I come in here and do my crafting. It's like, Heavenly Father, please help me. I need help. I need those creative juices because I don't always have them. And I don't know about you guys, but I just don't always have them. Now, when I laid this on my original card, I just simply looked at it and I, you know, looked to see how much was showing on the two different patterns of DSP and what was kind of pleasing to the eye. And I think that's good right there. So we're going to go ahead and get that glued down. This really isn't a hard card, guys. And, you know, I didn't realize what a lot of my issues is sometimes. When I come into my card room and I'm on my own, I'm not doing a video, I'm not trying to create anything for a video, I'm pretty fast. Like, I move really fast, but I can't do that on video. And I think sometimes that really does affect some of the things that I'm able to do and not do so well on video. Okay, here we go. So far, so good, right? Now, we've got our die cuts here that I have not yet released from captivity. We're going to get this going. And, well, I got organic pepper put in my pepper cellar. And I've got my pink Himalayan salt in my salt cellar. And I'm just so happy with them. So happy. And did I think to bring them in here for you? Why, no, I did not. There are so many dies to the True Beauty that I had to relegate a whole case just for the True Beauty dies. So let me get my stem back in there and let me get my flower released. Get that die back in there. And if y'all are not in the habit of doing it, please, please, I urge you, get in the habit when you've had your dies out, when you've had your stamps out. Look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Look on your description. It will always tell you how many you have. Yep. So I know they're all there, and I'm good to put that away. Ditto with your stamp set. A lot of times your stamp sets are going to show through the back, and you're going to immediately know before you put it away. However, like with my Around the Bend, I was able to put the die set and the stamps all in one case. So when I close this, here I've got, you know, for my dies and how many dies I should have, but I can't see if I have all of my stamps in there. And so, yes, always open it up and do a visual. Do a double check and make sure they're all there. If you guys are throwing away the rubber sheet that goes around your stamps, let me urge you to keep this in place, because again, you can see at a glance if all of your stamps are in there, okay? It really helps with that. I've done it since day one, and I've only ever had one stamp set that didn't work out for me to keep the rest of the rubber, and I can't remember why now. But there was one once upon a time that I just could not get it to stay for whatever reason. So it's been a while. I don't remember what set that was, but yes, please do keep that. You'll be so glad you did. And a lot of times too with your dies, you know, you want to mark the same point here as you do on your dies, so you're not constantly twirling, trying to figure out, you know, the correct orientation. All right, so now we're going to take this, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right on the very tip of this stem for the moment, just for the moment, and play with your flowers and kind of see what looks good to you. And I think I kind of want one of the leaves in the front, and I do want that stem coming down like it really is coming right out of that flower, right where that little V is. Okay, and that feels like that's trying to hold. Okay, and let's see about placement here and what's going to look good. And do I want to tilt it just a bit? I kind of think I do. I kind of think I like that tilted instead of being so straight up and down. So let me see if I can find my tweezers. I've been cleaning in my card room. You know how that goes. Oh, I've been cleaning and kind of reallocating how I keep some of my stuff. And it's always like a mental challenge then to remember, okay, now where did I decide I was going to keep that? All right. So we want this right about there. This way here, by doing it like this, it bridges from the top of the card all the way down through the bottom half of the card. And I think that works really well, and I think that's very pleasing to our eyes. And let's see. I, at this point now, need to get out my glue dots. So I'm not doing a white ribbon, but I didn't have any Calypso Coral ribbon. And so I got out some sheer Daffodil Delight that was retired, and I took my dark Calypso Coral stamping blends and I colored it, and I made sure it was colored in. I think there might be some little shimmery bits of yellow that are trying to come through. And I will tell you, depending on how your ribbon is made, sometimes after you color with your stamping blends, it may be just a little bit stiffer of a ribbon, but it's not a deal breaker, okay? It seriously, it is not. All right, get out my glue dots so we can put one on the back. And then we will get out both cards side by side so you can see the differences and see if you have a preference in what you like and what you prefer, so that if you go to make this card and get that around the bend set, you'll already have some really good ideas, right? And because I have that long stem, I can actually just press that bow right down on there. So what do you think of this? Now, I haven't added any bling. I could, and I may, before I actually give this to someone. But isn't that awesome? Guys, I gotta tell you, if it was me, and I was going through a really hard time, and and especially emotionally having a really hard time with some struggles I was having, I would love to get this card. I truly would. And so let's make sure that we are remembering people. They may not be physically sick. They don't have to be. They may not have even experienced a loss. They don't have to have had a loss, but they can need support and encouragement and feel our love, and that they are thought about, they are valued, and that they matter, okay? We all matter. All right, let me get the other card back over here. Move some of this peripheral stuff out of the way and see which one you like the best. So here we just had the flower head itself with the leaves with a white ribbon, and you can see that on this one, when I stamped, it's up a little further than where I stamped this one. But they both look good. They both still work, okay? All right, guys, have a very, very blessed weekend. Please know that you are loved. Be blessed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.